got, you can always improve. Just don't stop. Going for your dream to achieve in your life. Gotta take a chance like rolling the dice. It won't come to you, so you gotta go get it. At the end of the day, add up the digits. Miss Price used to say, if there's a will, there's a way. So I live by it. Until this very day, I kept on mashing and I never gave up. Me believing in myself is the way I came up.
What's up, team? This is Robert Porter with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAM BC 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, where we will talk politics, culture, and history. Today I have to apologize. We had Val Christensen coming in, the owner of, the owner of Sundowners, and unfortunately had a medical issue today, so he can't show up. So I hope he heals quickly, everything's good, and we will bring him on a future show.
I hope so as well. He's a great guy.
But thank God we invited as a special guest Third Ward Councilman Juan Figueroa.
I'm always on standby here, ready for you, Robert.
And you know there's always plenty of questions we can ask him.
Absolutely. So. It's going to be a high-rated show.
Yes.
You might even get a Marconi Award out of this one, Robert.
Yeah. I'll take that. And a number one rating, I'll take that too. I would first like to mention our sponsors, Celebrities Bar and Grill over on 40th Street, and Max. Well, this is separate, but Max just opened his Juice It Up over in Calamasa off of Cherry Avenue. So we went over there on Saturday and said hello. And Max is, it is Riverside County, but like I tell everyone, Riverside County used to be part of San Bernardino County. So it's important that we help all the areas around here. And, Max is a good guy. He does a lot for San Bernardino. So I went out there. I think Councilmember Damon Alexander went out there as well to visit him. And, I had this acai bowl, a protein bowl that Amy said I had to have. And it was actually pretty good. So I was like, I dig it. They were giving out free drinks. So Max was helping out over there. And then, of course, Celebrities. It's got their $9.99 steak special right now. Really good. You got a baked potato, some Texas toast, and you have your steak. Have you had one of those yet?
I have. They're great.
Yeah, it's a good cheap meal, right? Like, you do have to get a drink with it, but like you can get out of there for under $30 with two people, and you get a steak. So, for me, it's a perfect amount of food, and I just get a virgin margarita or a water with lemon, and all good. Do you drink?
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
Yeah, occasionally.
Have you ever had a margarita there? Or how
no, I haven't, but I remember going there even back when I was in Cal State, San Bernardino. Yeah. We would go there for the steak night.
You're not really a drink. You're more of a beer kind of guy. Right?
No, I'll have a cocktail or two.
Okay. I never liked the taste of beer, but I drink it to get drunk back in the day. But I do like the taste of a daiquiri without alcohol. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, I can
all the sugar.
You can have like a little dessert, right?
Right.
What's the one, the blowjob one? I don't know. I don't think I can have that one, right? So you would have to be like a frappuccino with some instead.
Right.
So there is virgin ones. Can you say blowjob on the radio as long as it's for a drink?
Yeah. Okay, well that's the name of the drink. Otherwise.
You never had those shots? Like I've never taken one. I guess me and Amy talked about those. We saw it on that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or something. She's has me watching that. Have you watched that show?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's long, and I think they're still actually going to this day.
Wow.
And it's starting like 2000, but it's actually pretty funny. I laughed out loud a few times.
Good.
So if you have some time, watch that show. It's some good stuff. So I'm totally on a tangent. I have no idea where I am. But thank you, Celebrities Bar and Grill, for everything you do over there. We appreciate you.
Great.
And we also have our Standout of the Week. So today's I Love San Bernardino Standout of the Week is none other than Doug Wheeler. What's
Jolly
up,
St.
brother?
Doug.
Yeah, Doug Wheeler Claus. Santa Wheeler. Yeah. Santa Wheeler he always volunteers for our yearly ho-ho parade during the Christmas season. Well, you're in the ho-ho parade a lot of times.
In the past I was.
And still
not
involved
so much.
a little bit.
I'm still very much involved. Yes, I do have a hand a small little hand in it. But yes, in the past, I was one of the characters, and that was a lot of fun.
And your lady as well?
As well, who plays a primary character on the parade as well. And it's a lot of fun, Robert, because we get to actually get out into the community and see all the kids running out of their houses and like, oh my God, hey Santa, or hey Olaf,
and like if you got your list,
Yeah.
like your nice list, of course, not your naughty one.
Well, you better be on the nice
You
list.
run it right to Santa right there.
Right.
Like I got a new Mercedes on there, and a house over off of Valencia Avenue. You getting that, Santa?
Yeah, I've seen some of those lists, Robert. They're asking for a PS5 and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's
I could use an ounce of gold, Santa.
long gone are the days where kids were asking for Hot Wheels or a board game.
Yeah.
They're asking for PS5s and
I want what was it? They got Life, or what was the doctor one where it's like,
yes, Operation.
Yeah, Operation.
I could never. I would always buzz that thing.
Yeah, or Hungry Hippos and end up breaking the head because you hit it so hard. Oh, man, good stuff. Well, Doug Wheeler, thank you for all you do in the community.
He's a
also
great
a
guy.
neighborhood association president.
Correct.
And involved in everything.
I believe
see him
it's the
everywhere.
Belvedere Neighborhood Association. I don't remember, and I'm sorry if that's not the right
I don't remember the
one.
exact one, but we do appreciate your hard work, Doug. We really do. And I think he also, this is why I remember of Doug Wheeler and why he's such a great guy. In some of my poorest times in my life, he came over and bought avocados from me. Right? So that's the kind of guy this guy is, right? And of course, he got some benefits out of those avocados, I'm sure, but that was really nice of him to do that back in the day.
It really is. And I just recently ran into him, too, at the Dollars for Dogs. It was a fundraiser for our canine pups, our police pups, just to help raise some money for their training and their care as well. And I did run into him there at one of the restaurants where the fundraiser was being held, and I had a great opportunity to catch up with him. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Well, we want to thank you, and that's brought to us by First Lineage Site Services and Ben Chavez over there, is trying to help, brighten up the mood by showcasing local San Bernardinans, and we came up with this idea, and it's working out very well. Thank you, Doug, and you won't be seeing Doug Wheeler at the Ho Ho Parade, but he will be there.
In spirit, I'm sure he will be there.
Ho 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 ho. All right, we got a history tidbit here. Should we do future events or history tidbit here first? I'll do future events. We got the trick or treat. City of San Bernardino Parks and Recs is putting on at Al Guin Park, Vermont Community Center. It's over by the Little League spot. Not quite in Devore, but just before Devore, right? Yeah. So. That's October 27th from 5 to 9 p.m. I went to the one last year. We had a great time. We took the kids. They took pictures of everyone, group pictures, and then gave everybody a free picture if they wanted. So Parks and Rec put on a great time. And I think that we saw the kids for like 2 seconds, and then they were like off in the playground going nuts, doing everything. So like there's candy.
Our Parks and Rec is just knocking it out of the park.
Kicking
right now.
butt and having fun doing it, right?
Yeah.
This is in the north end, so I hope to see you there because you are a commissioner. I mean, you are a council member for the whole city, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I am a city councilman, not a ward councilman.
Yeah. You're for the whole
We're
city.
we're city employees, not ward employees.
And the city employees always like to see us at these events too. Yeah, the commissioners and the council members. So that will be October 27th from 5 to 9. Then tomorrow will be the start of the Certified Farmers Market put on by Parks and Rec. It's going to be every Tuesday, rain or shine, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. I know it's an interesting time, and some people may not be able to make it there, but then just look at it this way. There are people that can make it there that wouldn't be able to make it at other times. So we have to be fair all around. And also maybe on the break or lunch, city workers or county workers can go over there and get some fresh vegetables for their dinner later in the week. Or
Right.
in the
In
evening.
fact, I've been in other places where they hold theirs during the week, during the day as
Yeah.
well. So
So-
it's not something that's out of the norm. It happens at other places as well. And you're right. There are different activities and different events for different people at different times of the day.
So I'll be there tomorrow. I'm going to take my mama over there, and we'll check everything out, and then I'll take her out to lunch at the Green Shack. We got some good food at the Green Shack. Yeah, try one of those.
What's your
Philly's-
favorite?
Yeah, I like the pastrami is really good, but I also like their cold sandwiches too. So I'll go with anything.
Yeah, I love a good pastrami.
Yeah, my favorite sandwich there. Yeah, but probably had to be the mafia meatball. You know, it is one of the best, but I do like the pastrami. Especially, I like to put cheese on it. Some people don't like that, but I like cheese on it. Good stuff. All right. Oh, something very important. Now I'm going to ask you. You better have the answer to this here, council member.
I don't have my glasses on, Robert. Let me take a little closer look there.
And that is in Spanish. Can you speak Spanish?
I can.
All right, all
Sí,
right.
también puedo hablar español.
Ayude a dar forma al futuro de nuestros parques. So what we need you to do here is we need to help you shape the future of our parks by filling out this questionnaire that the Parks and Rec are putting on out there. It's a professional questionnaire. It takes 15 minutes, team. It goes through everything. This isn't just, I want the homeless out of the parks. I need the bathrooms working. The grass is, no. This is very
In-depth.
detailed, right? So you can go through and put all the things in what you see in the future, too.
Right. It's a comprehensive survey.
So go to the city website or go to www.mysbparks.com. www.mysbparks.com. Now I have this already posted on I Love San Bernardino, Instagram and Facebook. But you can go to the city website and find this too there. It should be on the front page and give you the link to it. But we need you to do this, team, please. And tell your neighbors to do it too. If you want things in our parks, we got to let the council members know with an actual data-driven
Right. Where to allocate the
proposal.
funds that are needed.
Yeah,
Right.
like we all know that there's homeless in the parks. We know that. But like, do we know how are the playgrounds for the kids?
Right.
Yeah, like how
Or
do
the
they
water
rate?
features,
Yeah.
or right.
How's the grass or the walkways and
The trees.
Yeah, the things like that. So we really need to take. Did you take this yet? Yeah, he's gonna have to go home and do it tonight.
I'll do it tonight. Robert.
Yeah, all right. And could you please let all your fellow council members know that it's important for them to take part in this survey here, because they're going to be a part of it in the end discussion, right?
It certainly
Yeah.
is. In fact, we'll probably be highlighting it at this upcoming council meeting this Wednesday.
Good, that's great. And I expect all of you out there to get on the San Bernardino City website and fill this out. It will be quick. I know 15 minutes seems like a long time, but it sneaks by. And if you don't know the answer, just skip to the next one.
Right.
So that's good for that. All right, we got a little bit of history here, if you can handle that. You have any history to share with us today?
No, but I'm glad that you shared some information about supporting not just the city of San Bernardino, but other areas, the neighboring areas, because you mentioned, it referred to areas, and I'm thinking area codes. Back in the day, this was all like 714 area code, then at 909, and some of it split off into 951, and we have so many area codes. But we were at one point 714 here.
We were. I do remember that. I actually have used that area code before to call my mom's house back from Philadelphia when I was a kid. That's the only time I ever really, because you don't use your area code when you live in it, right?
Yeah.
So you don't. But that's interesting, man. I forgot. Then we went to 909.
909, and now it's split off into 2 or 3 other ones as well.
I still got the 909. I'll take that one.
Yeah, I still have my 909.
Well, for our history, I decided to do a more obscure one that people don't know a lot about. David Seeley. And this is from San Bernardino Valley History Tour, 1847 to 1857 for the 150th anniversary. A Canadian from Ontario, Canada, David Seeley was born October 12th, 1819. He crossed the desert to California from Salt Lake City in 1849. While in California to mine gold, David and his brother Justice Wellington Seeley and others were guests at the Lugo family at Fandango. He mined until 1850 when he went to San Francisco. In 1851, he was appointed captain of 50 wagons of Mormon pioneers who came to San Bernardino. He and his brother established a mill in the San Bernardino Mountains. He was the first stake president of the Mormon Church in the colony. He died May 24th, 1892. So this guy came with my girlfriend Emma's Albright, but Amasa Lyman was her great-great-grandfather, right?
Really, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
so my lady's great-great-grandfather came with Mr. Seeley here to the founding of San Bernardino.
Has
So,
some deep roots.
Yeah, so like it's kind of just showing you the connection. Like the history does still apply to the present. I mean, that DNA is still there
It's
in
still
her,
there.
right? Yeah, and the stories are still there, and even her dad has a piece of furniture from the kitchen. It's like a hutch or something. It's really old. It has a grinder in it and everything. I mean, like it's incredible, and that came from that history. I mean, so that some of that history is still with us today, including the streets,
Right. It's interesting what you see. I've been into many of these homes in the city of San Bernardino, some of the older homes, and it's amazing what you find in some of them. In fact, when I purchased my home, I found a lot of stuff in there from World War II or from things from the railroad, all kinds of things that were left behind in the basement. And so I'm one of the few homes that actually has a basement. And you can't imagine all the things that I found down there.
Well, I always say, did you do an archaeological survey on your basement? Like that means you go over every single inch back and forth until you've covered the whole thing. And see
It's
if
a
there-
pretty big basement. In fact, I
is
had
there
one
anything
gentleman
like
a long time
hidden?
ago.
So you look in area so as an archaeologist, they would train us to take a metal detector and put them on the sides of walls, especially rock walls of abandoned buildings. Why would you do this? Because people would hide their savings within the
Inside.
walls.
Wow.
Same thing with basements. It's a common occurrence to find old documents, money, buttons, buttons like Levi stuff, all that stuff in basements, hidden in cubbies and corners.
Interesting. I did have a gentleman a long time ago, an older gentleman, this was a long time ago, a few years back, asked me if he could go digging in my backyard and just sticking this really long, like this 20-foot pole down into the ground. And I guess what he was searching for were like medicine bottles or just glass bottles and all kinds of stuff.
so
And he would actually find stuff in my
Prior
backyard.
to 1940, you burned your trash here in the city, in Fontana, in the area, right? So as earth movers, we always put in septic systems in backyards, in front yards. We would find these old trash pits, and they were almost at every single old house that was prior to 1940. So you do find those old. There could be old archaeology in your own house.
Who knows? You have
Yeah.
to dig a little deeper, I guess. No, he was able to find a few bottles, and it just, I guess it was a hobby of his. He enjoyed it, and he was just a kind guy. Just came to the door, knocked on my door. Hey, can I
Go
dig
for it.
back
That
there?
is
Sure.
pretty interesting.
And he found some stuff back there.
Was there any reason why he specifically picked your house, or was there several in the
Because it
area?
looks like an older home.
Oh.
My home is, I mean, it's over 100 years old at this point. But
So,
yeah,
so he knew that there was probably
he knew
trash
that
buried
there's
back
probably something back there. Yeah.
there. I've dug up trash pits with no joke that have had unopened bottles of Coca-Cola from 1956 in there. I had in that same trash pit pulled out a calendar from 1956, right? And like the other archaeologists that studied that stuff said, well, the only thing you could have found better is they circled the date when the trash went out, right? But for finding a date for archaeologists is not always easy, but that one was seriously easy.
I have found old road maps.
Oh.
I mean, in the garage, down in the basement, just old stuff that you can't even imagine. Like, what is? It's amazing. It's
I'm gonna
interesting
have to
stuff.
come over and check this out.
It's
dude.
interesting stuff. I have an old TV down there that's like from one of the first TVs. I'll take a
So,
picture.
like,
I'll send it to you.
You still use that black and white? You're like,
It is. It's down there.
Your
and
woman's-
it turns on. It
your woman uses
doesn't get
you
a
as
signal.
a remote. She's like, Juan,
Go
change
change
it.
the
Go
channel.
change that right now.
Yeah.
All right. So, good history over in your area then, huh?
Yeah.
We love our history so much. How do we get on that subject? I don't know.
Just through casual conversation.
Yeah. We see.
So we don't have an agenda really here. We're just kind of shooting from the hip. It's just an impromptu.
We were going to talk
interview.
about the 40th anniversary of Sundowners, which great spot. I always went there as a kid with my grandparents. It reminded me of like a smorgasbord kind of thing, or a cafeteria a little bit. Always.
It has a cafeteria
yeah,
vibe to
yeah.
it. Yes.
But elders love it. My grandfather just loved the place, right? So it's a good spot. It's over on East Street. If you haven't been over there, go over there, stop by Stizzy's, grab you a couple,
build up an appetite.
some pre-rolls, head right over there to Sundowners and have a meal. And I wouldn't tell you to do something I wouldn't do myself. I'm sending you over there to have a good time. And maybe we can get the owner of Sundowners to head over to Stizzy's, or maybe he already owes over there. Right?
Who knows? I don't know.
Stizzy's is in your ward, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, Sundowners is in my ward as well. So
okay. Well, but I'm interested more in Stizzy's right now. Have you been in there?
No.
You've never been in Stizzy's?
No.
Okay. So let me tell you what it's like. So I've been in I fought for legalized marijuana here in the city of San Bernardino. I fought tooth and nail. I never went to any of the legalized places because I kind of quit at so I never went in any of them, right? Well, a couple of months ago, I recently, smoked a little weed, and I got back to smoking a little bit, right? So don't tell anybody; it's a secret.
Medicinal.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
But just I don't drink, so I have weed is legal, so I help fight for that. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll go try to buy some at Captain Jack's. Right? They've been in it since the beginning. I know it was run by, not people that sometimes
a different type of organization.
Yeah, might think that they're not the best, but they doing the thing. But I went in there and I was treated badly. Like I was kind of treated like really disrespectfully.
And as with any other type of business, you're
going
to go where to
right. But like what the girl didn't realize, I had already talked to people in the front and given them my card and everything. So they probably thought I was going to go and, ring them a new one on Isle of San Bernardino. But I didn't because, frankly, I just never shopped there again. Right. And I went to Stizzy's, right? And so we went to Stizzy's.
I think there's two of them now in the city.
Yeah. Well, High Times has one too, right?
I think so. It's on East Street. But as far as that one, there's one on East Street, and then there's one over by the...
Oh, another Stizzy's?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Off of H Street near the freeway, the 215 freeway, just north of about 3rd or 4th Street in that area.
Okay. Well, if you go in, they ask you for your ID. So you go in and then you stand in a little line. There's ATMs there because I guess you have to pay cash, or half of it at least has to be cash. And then they have all the stuff behind the counter, but they bring it up to you. You don't touch anything. And, they show everything to you, and then you pay your taxes. And you buy your weed and you leave and you go to Sundowners.
I hear that they're set up much like an Apple store.
Yeah, it is very professional. The people are they're not dressed in, they're well dressed, but they're not dressed in business attire. But it's still I feel comfortable in there.
There's a professionalism to the business. They run it like a legitimate business.
So I may have to try there's the other one. What's the wax one? There's another one.
I don't know.
There's a couple in the city. I'm gonna have to try the other ones, but I don't really.
I see them as I drive around.
Yeah. So just so you know, you did good. You guys voting in cannabis is actually working.
And you remember how difficult that whole process was back then.
I swear, I wish I could bring the negative Nancy's back up. We should have a recap. Bring the negative Nancy's back up. And I swear, the whole San Bernardino is supposed to go down the drain. We were done. There's no way to help us. We're going to hell. All these things that really didn't happen.
Yeah, you always get the sky's falling, end of the world type people, and then when you get some distance between the event and current day, where are they?
Yeah,
but then they're
cite
replaced.
Your negative stuff with medically, fine. Everything does have negative consequences. You use too much of it, things like that. I don't mind that. Please, we need to know that. But the stuff that you were saying before about the world was going to end and all that stuff, that you need to really go back there, revisit how you've looked at that, and make sure you do not do that in the future.
Right. No, they'll just find a different thing to say that the sky's
and it's
falling
always
over.
the same people, and they just switch from
Topics.
subject to subject and get that super negative when going left or right doesn't solve anything really. It just makes it so if you go super right, the super left get in there and change it. You go super left, the super right get in there and change it. But if you go in the middle, then the next team comes in, they're like, oh, Well, they already compromised on that. Let's go to the next one.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and it might be super important, and they might attack it, but most of the time, you just leave it alone.
I've heard from an attorney once. I can't remember who it was, but said that how you arrive to the correct agreement is when both sides are unhappy about they feel that they both got the short end of the deal, and so when both sides are unhappy with the result, then that's how you know you arrived at the right location, because neither one feels like they got everything they wanted.
I have something similar to that. Like if you watch, like they trained us in communication to watch people leave a situation, right? And their face will tell everything about the transaction, even if you didn't hear it. So like if their face is happy, they made money on the deal. If they're laughing, like they really took you for. If they're straight faced, it's probably
Something
equal,
going on.
yeah. And if they're unhappy, they got taken.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so it's similar there.
Pretty much, it's almost the same thing. If somebody's super happy about the deal, that means the other side really
So they're
took
probably
them
going
to
to come back at it.
Yeah.
Right? So make something compromised, and you guys have been working on that, right?
Right. There's compromise. There's compromise even from the dais. Recently, at the most recent council meeting, you saw that as it was happening. There was compromise on certain issues.
Mm-hmm. How was that not having the mayor and having Fred as mayor?
As the mayor pro tem, really the mayor in that role during the council meeting is just. I hate to. I don't. By no means is this an insult, but you're just directing traffic.
Yeah, you're in charge of the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound insulting. It's just, but yeah, you're just kind of directing traffic and
the mayor's
controlling
power
the
and
flow
role
of the. Yeah.
comes in her veto power
Mm-hmm.
and the breaking of a tie, and then of course she can direct her staff to do things, right?
Correct.
But
The mayor does have limited powers per our new charter. And you just mentioned some of them with the veto, and the mayor does have a vote on certain things, like breaking of ties, on commissioners, the appointment of like the city manager, city attorney, or city clerk, and if there's a tie, if there's a 3-3 tie, the only time that would happen is if there's a council member absent or unable to vote.
So she can miss some meetings.
Correct. Yeah, that's
And-
fine.
and-
There's nothing that says
and
that
Fred-
the mayor is required to.
Fred should be able to handle it, and Fred's term's almost up, right?
Fred, no, he was just sworn in back last
No,
December.
I mean as a mayor pro tem.
as mayor pro tem, yeah. So it would conclude this coming December.
And then it
at
goes
the time,
to
and so at
Ben?
that time we would elect a different
Oh, okay.
mayor pro tem. But if we continue going down the same path as we have been, which is an unspoken rule, so to speak, it's not that it's officially stated or written anywhere. We've just gone down the line of who's next. We just try to
I
keep the
do re-
politics out of it that way.
Well, one second. Like, it depends on how far back you go. Because I think I remember at a time that there was a point where they picked somebody who was going to be in office and didn't have a chance of getting removed because of an election.
Right, and sometimes in the past, unfortunately, what's happened with, and it shouldn't be the case, but what's happened is that people have used it for political reasons, and they don't like an
Oh.
individual, and you have the majority of the council that
The
doesn't like that
reasoning
individual.
why
and-
Treasurer didn't get a commissionership in the past was something similar to that.
So
Yeah.
usually, what has been done in the past is if somebody's up for election or running for office, there tends to be a lack of an appetite to appoint that person.
Interesting.
And that's what's happened in the past. Now, with the
So
mayor
I was
pro
right.
tem,
I did remember that correctly.
so with the
yes.
mayor pro tem, I understand that the next person is up for election. But look, I'm still committed to the process because I think it's a fair.
So you wouldn't have any problem voting Ben?
I wouldn't have it, no,
And even
no.
if he did have to leave, it would just
well, remember,
you just appoint a new one, right?
The mayor pro
Yeah,
tem would
yeah.
only step in the absence of the mayor, and so
And it's just at this point in time, it's very important to the city
Mm-hmm.
because the mayor will eventually have to take some time off for herself.
yes,
Yes.
looking ahead for
Yeah.
those. I mean, it's not really a
that's
secret
why
at this point.
That's
but
why
the
I'm
mayor,
digging into this
Yeah.
to just get a little of the details worked
Yeah.
out. So I
and
can
we're
make
not
it-
sharing anything that hasn't already been
Yeah.
made public. But yes, the mayor is pregnant, and she's due.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely, congratulations to her and her family. I think she's due in December or January or something along
So,
those.
so during those times, there will be, she'll be out of office online, maybe doing.
Perhaps,
Yeah.
that's something that we haven't even discussed.
Because Ben,
I've asked,
you did try it with Ben when he was in Louisiana.
correct, and we
Okay.
have done
With,
it. I think
Councilman Reynoso,
there
I
are a
mean.
few council members who have zoomed in from whatever location they've
And
been
it,
at.
it seemed to work out all right.
It works
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Look, we have the technology
It's
to be
better
able
when
to
you're
do
there,
it.
but
Right.
you do what you got to do.
And of course, the agenda you have to post your location. It has to be open and available to the public. So if somebody from the public wants to attend where you're
So
located,
could I have been like, hey Ben, I'm flying out to Louisiana. Have some of those
you have to be afforded the
crayfish
right.
and everything ready for me.
Yeah. You have to be afforded the right and the ability to be able to attend the meeting based on where he's located. And so that's why it's posted on the agenda as well. So now if you want to fly out to Louisiana or Hawaii or Boston or wherever,
I'm
you can.
going to have to talk to him and see if he had anything like that happen.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But we've done that a couple of times. We've accommodated some of our council members and the mayor on some of the meetings with them.
Then we can just go hang out with the mayor, which if she's... He's like, hey, we're going to come over and hang out next to you on the couch.
Right. You just go hang out. Now I don't believe it can be in their private room because it still has to be accessible to the public.
The public.
Right.
Okay.
So they have to get like a little conference room or
Or so-
something in the
okay.
lobby or.
And all this should work out. It shouldn't be any detriment to San Bernardino. Everything should be rolling smooth.
Right.
But
And knowing the mayor as I do, I don't think this is going to hold her back at all. She's at
Yeah.
every event. She's all over the place. She does work pretty hard. So she'll
just trying to get through the meeting, the Zoom, and all that
yeah.
stuff. So
she can
it's going
certainly
to work
spin a lot
out,
of
team.
plates. I've seen her spinning plates and juggling bowling pins and all kinds of different things. So she can do it.
Definitely has to juggle a lot of San Bernardinans. That's for sure. Like, the mayor, even though the mayor has a certain spot, a lot of people have a lot of requests for her, and have
rightfully
lots of
so.
questions.
I mean, people look to leadership. They look to the elected officials for some of the many things that are needed
Some
in
of
the
them
city.
don't even. Most of the people don't even know you exist. Juan.
I
I know. They know that there's a mayor, and that's about it.
And that's it,
Yeah,
right? The
that's-
council, what?
Is there a governor?
Yeah. People are like, "Are you the congressman?" Like, no, I'm not a congressman.
You're
I'm
a
the
county
council.
super what?
Right. No, and you're right. Most people think to the mayor for certain type of leadership, and so that's who people know. I mean, whenever you watch a movie or television show, they refer to the mayor. When they're referring to politicians.
Yes, and,
And so-
most of the time, kids in cartoons, right? They always.
Right.
The
I mean, look
mayor,
at this.
yeah.
You look at The Simpsons. You think of Mayor Quimby,
Yeah,
right?
but-
You don't see any council members on The Simpsons.
But the council members actually make our government run because their votes allow for the gears to move.
Right, and especially in our city with the charter that we have, it is a city council manager form of government.
So over $50,000, right? You have to be involved in the decision-making process, right?
in regards to what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your
Spending of monies
Yes,
over
correct.
$50,000.
So correct. So that anything under that amount, the city manager has discretion to be able to use that amount. However, that has been made. The council has requested for that to be at least provided to the council in a report.
Just
to say,
make
hey,
sure
look,
we
this is
know.
correct.
Yeah.
So that
He's not spending $49,000 without you letting.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's $49,000 for this whatever
Yeah.
project or
No
or
surprises.
no
'Cause that's a lot of
surprises or-
money. Yes.
Correct. And so it is provided to the council at the council meetings, and so we are made aware of it.
This now I don't want to get you in trouble, but there's just been announced a new city manager. Yeah, can you say the name and everything? Or?
I believe the city has made it public.
Okay.
However, it's not formal at this time
Okay.
yet, and so I hesitate to make any conclusive statements because it hasn't
But
been
there is-
formally
but there is a
voted on
candidate-
this Wednesday.
there
But there
is
is a candidate,
that-
and the city has made it public that Charles Montoya is in communication with the city as far as being the next city manager. However, it hasn't been formalized through the.
He hasn't signed. a
Well, the
line.
council hasn't made the formal decision,
Oh,
and
okay.
that will be decided this coming Wednesday at the council meeting.
I mean, there ain't a lot of choices. here, man.
Robert, I wish I could get into the conversation about the whole process. Believe me, I wish I could get into the conversation with you about this.
I mean, I'm
Um,
not. team, I am not a fly on the wall. I specifically asked them when we do discuss things about closed session not to talk to me, right? Because I don't want to know, right?
Right.
It's just, but like
And
I do
it's
see
best
the
to
stuff.
not even discuss it
I
because
do
it
see the
just-
stuff on the outside, and I can tell that it's been a very contentious search.
We certainly, well, look, we started this process back in December, January, approximately. And we've had a lot of meetings. I mean, this is public record. You can go back at multiple special meetings that we've held, multiple discussions, interviews, the process. And so there's been about 10 months or so worth of discussions, conversations, of narrowing down candidates from 60-something to the top
Bringing in
certain amount to the
candidates that can't do it or ended up not wanting to. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons, man. But like,
Believe me, I wish.
I'm partial to Charles McNeely. I really love him. Like, there was no way. Did you get on your knee and ask him to marry you?
No.
Or?
Well, because of his retirement status, you are limited through CalPERS. You're limited to how many hours you can work, and he is nearing the end of his
Allowable
permitted
hours.
of allowed hours. So, and so it creates the situation where, you know, and this isn't just for the city manager position. This is for all, you know,
So
all,
he
all
would have
positions.
to forego his retirement.
Correct.
But could he earn? And he's just not going to do it. That's,
It's,
that's the bottom line. Yeah.
And so he's done a tremendous job at bringing forward, putting together the council's vision. We've had multiple workshops with him as well. And he's done a
city's
great.
been humming along since he rolled in there. It really has.
Well, and here we are also at a skeleton crew with the city. We have interim directors, interim city manager, interim all over the place, and we need to stabilize the city because we currently there's a lack of consistency, and with so much change and turnover, what ends up happening is that things kind of get pushed further back and
we
further
just
back.
talked about that at our Arts and Historical Preservation Commission meeting. That, I mean, we're building this park analysis and our future plan. Is that what they call it?
Mm-hmm.
Park future plan or whatever. And like a lot of times in the past, we built these things and not even used them, right? So this time, like, she's like, "Can I have that thing?"
Right. So we've been, and it's not exclusive to San Bernardino, but many times what happens is that you get these plans and you start planning, you get all these plans put together and it looks great on paper and people pat themselves on the back, but then they don't fund it.
Or somebody leaves.
Or somebody leaves,
Yeah,
and now
and
they
then
come
it's
in
all-
and take an eraser to it, or like an Etch-a-Sketch, just shake it and start over with something else, and then they pat themselves
That's
on
what
the back.
usually happens. They're like, we need to redo this again.
Creating plans isn't it's a step. It isn't an accomplishment per se. It is a first step. You have to plan. If you don't plan, then you're not going to get to where you need to get. But a lot of people make plans thinking that they accomplished something. They pat themselves on the back for saying, look at a great job we did.
And you only got the proposal. You
And
don't have the final product.
And you have to implement those plans, and so those plans have to be funded. And so that would be the next step for us. I think the council is committed to the plans that we've agreed to recently, and we want to see it through. And so with new leadership, it is up to the council to continue to say, hey, look, we want to continue down this path. We agreed to the like the Homeless Navigation Center. We agreed to what's proposed with the PBID in downtown. And so, and many other things with other departments growing, and the one-stop shop, and all kinds of other stuff like the park rangers. There's all kinds of things that we approved that we want to be committed to.
Do you know where that's at? Like, how long until are those rangers currently working, or?
So we're able to start the process of hiring, recruiting, or putting it all together. It takes time. Looking back at when we approved at the last budget for code enforcement, where we increased it from, I think we were at 6, I don't remember,
20, right?
to about 20.
Yeah.
And so it took some time to get through that process of hiring. And even once they're hired, it's not like they can get out there and immediately, hit the road. They still have to be trained. They have to, go through that whole process of
So
learning the ropes. And
maybe by middle of next year we should have the
Sure.
park rangers next spring.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hate to commit to a date exactly because so many
team,
things. but
These
yes.
rangers will have the power to cite you.
During the day. So
and-
during the day we will have rangers, and at night we will have security. So once the park's closed down, but the rangers will be there to provide a gentle reminder, a kind reminder to people to please pick up after the, it's fine for families to go and have picnics or have little parties, and it's just
But it's not all
safety
right
measures
to just
and
leave your trash
Right.
everywhere. You disrespect the area.
don't be
Yeah, yeah.
disrespectful if there's any issues going on in the
And
park.
it's also not all right for you to claim the same picnic table every single day for a month.
Right. So
Right.
that's why we're
That-
looking at having rangers in our
and
parks.
that's something that our unhoused community has to realize too. Yes, you are in difficult times, but that does not belong to you.
The parks belong
Yeah,
to everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't like to hear that. They do not.
But they do. The
Yeah.
parks do belong to everyone, and everyone
that's-
should have the
that's why
same
I'm
right to
kind of
enjoy
like-
them.
I'm not everything for the homeless. Right? You have to have an in between to work this out. And in being part of our community means that the homeless are part of our community too, right?
And there's certain social rules that we all have to abide by. You can't just go onto a park and start.
That's where the new law, where they'll be able to drug addiction or abuse can be used as a reason to be put into treatment.
Into treatment,
Yeah.
correct.
And
And,
that-
that's
that
something
will-
that's currently happening
we need a
in
lot
the
more
state of
treatment
California.
centers, I think. Wow.
Yeah, because you see it all the time on the streets. Homelessness is a complicated topic, and,
I
and
seen
not
it
all
go
of
across
it.
the street here. I watched it for 10 minutes today, burning with their lighter, burning
Yeah.
spider webs
And
along
some of
the
it-
building over here.
And some of it is drug-induced
Yeah.
psychosis,
I'm like, what are
and
you
not
doing?
all of it, but some of it. Most of it is drug-induced psychosis, and unfortunately, what has happened with many people is that they've experienced trauma maybe in childhood, and the only way that they were able to cope with that trauma was perhaps with consuming some type of drug. It alleviates the pain, and what ends up happening is that they then become addicted to that, and they become dependent on it. But then the long-term effects of it
can make you mentally unstable.
Correct.
And we don't blame you guys if you're
No.
addicted. I mean, we all have our addictions too.
Right.
But we just expect you to be cleaner with your trash, and
so it's
and there
difficult.
are some like that. I actually see some of the homeless that keep their area immaculate.
I've
They-
seen.
they
I
may have
drive by
gotten
one.
an 8-ball the night before, but
I drive by one all the time.
that was funny, Eric.
I drove by one sometime, I think in the last week, and I was driving by, and he was actually out there sweeping in front of his tent. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before, but
And that comes to this one idea I always had, where to have a pay the homeless to clean streets, give them a GPS little clicker, like you get at Chubsy's when you're waiting. Have you eaten Chubsy's yet?
no, I don't think I have.
Oh, we're gonna have to get you some Chubsy's.
I think I'm getting a little chubsy
Yeah,
myself.
well, Chubsy's like they have a little thing you hold it when you're ready, right? So you have a GPS tracker, shows everywhere you go. You have your trash. You bring your trash. You weigh it.
Okay.
You weigh it at the end of the day. The person gives you a voucher.
Kind of like recycling,
Yeah.
recycling
However-
cans, where
how
they just
much-
weigh the
yeah,
amount.
How much you got, that can equal a voucher for a free hotel stay. It could equal a free meal. It could equal just a water.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
there's pride in doing work as well. I
And
mean,
then
you feel a
maybe there
sense
could
of
be a way you could, like, forego that and get paid a weekly thing instead or something. I don't know, but give a way to put them to work. And maybe they could go to the kiosk in the morning and get it themselves. And
what area am I going to work today?
yeah, like the old days, like you see pictures of people, they had their trash can that on wheels and they swept. And even today in Mexico, they do that in San Felipe.
Mm-hmm.
They sent a guy, like, why can't we do that?
When's the last time you went to San Felipe? I haven't been out there in a
Yeah,
long time.
It's been about 2 years, man. It's been
Okay.
a while. No, 3 years.
3
4 years. COVID stole my whole life. My family went last summer.
It's been
This
about
summer.
20 years for me. It's been a very long time. I'm sure it's changed quite a bit.
We've been rebuilding the house down there, so we put a new roof and everything on it. So that's what we've been working on. But it's still, I'll take you down there too, man. It's
Let's have
wild.
fun.
Last question. There was something else I needed to ask about. Oh yeah, Waterman Gardens. So
You're gonna put me on the spot with that. I don't have the
Uh,
information at the
well, no,
at
like
my fingertips right
like
now.
so, like it's been vacant for a long time,
Mhm.
but they're just about to. They did some building now. They're going to start. There's the fourth part of the project, or
I don't have the information. At
well,
my,
they're restarting back up. So if you've
Okay.
been driving by there a lot and you say, well,
I
they
know
tore
it's-
that down years ago.
Years ago, it's
Yeah.
been a long time.
Yeah.
I remember we were having this conversation with what was his name? Steve Pontel, was it?
Yeah.
Many years ago. This was
Yes.
10, 15 years ago, something like that, when they were initially doing the proposal. And so it's we've been waiting a while for it.
So that should be working too. Route 66, I actually, since I had other events, we went in the evening. The first time I've done that in a while. It was a nice atmosphere. Like people kept warning me about gangsters and everything at night. I seen gangsters, but I didn't see them bothering anybody. I
No,
seen them
there were a lot of people there.
They were just enjoying cars and looking for
Right.
girls and things like that. You know, that's what I do. But like one thing that did bother me, Councilman, is that I went down 4th Street and it was pitch black.
Okay, in the evening in that
Because
area.
someone had stolen the street light.
Okay. And that's
So, yeah.
infuriating. Maybe
Yeah.
it shouldn't happen. I didn't. I was there during the day. I probably left right before it got dark.
So all
I
those
don't-
people who had bought those spots,
Mhm.
I kind of felt like bad for them. You know, you can't even see their car, and like then you of course being pitch black in downtown
And
San
that's something.
Bernardino.
And that's something that we should do for the next year is do a dry run, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the days leading up to it to make sure. But you know we shouldn't have to wait until an event to happen for us to fix it. It should just be fixed now.
It's hard. I know it's hard to keep our street lights because they keep stealing all the copper lines.
I know. I just
between them.
received another request from near Hospitality Lane and one around the Auto Plaza that, again, the lights went out because somebody went in there and started stealing all the copper wiring and other
They
issues.
risk their lives for it, and you know, the guy last year died doing that, man.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes, it
Right
did
there at the
happen.
Carousel Mall.
At the Carousel Mall last year.
And like all you do is hurt people. But I guess if you're in that fight or flight survival mode of drugs, that
It's
you
when
know,
the addiction takes the brain over and your desire to seek that hit to alleviate whatever ailment you're having far exceeds whatever danger you're putting yourself in, and that's at least my understanding of it. I don't know, but it's a complicated issue. We can probably get into that on my next visit here because I know I'll probably be here again.
Well, has it ever been brought up in city meetings about catalytic converters and copper are both similar. Now we don't know if this copper is being sent directly to Mexico or right on a ship shipped over to China.
I've worked with some of our DROs, district resource officers, in identifying some of the places that are illegally recycling some of these metals. And we do enforce our laws
do
and go
catch
after
some
them.
of
We
them,
do
yeah.
catch some of them, not all of them. It's difficult. It's a process to do it. But we do communicate. At least I communicate with our district resource officers regarding some of those issues. And unfortunately, we've identified even a few cemetery plaques, the ground plaques, where people are buried that have been popped off in whatever metal or whatever is in there.
If you want to throw an idea at them, and when we were in Coachella Valley doing work, I was listening to the radio one time, and they were having a problem with the cactuses, barrel cactuses being stolen from the center dividers and being used in housing projects all around the area. Well, they started taking tracking GPS chips and putting them in the cactuses to scan them. And a lot of people got arrested for stealing barrel cactuses.
I've
Like,
never heard of that, but
I was
but
hoping there'd be
that's
some kind of sting that they could
That
like
they could
set
do
it
that.
up.
With the same thing with catalytic converters, people are starting to etch either their driver's license number, their VIN number, or whatever
Paint
on
it
them as
pink.
well. Yeah, painted pink. People used to do that with their radio stereos or their car stereos. They would paint them or spray paint them a certain color because it would.
Always people stealing.
It would
Or
people
like your
keep people from stealing
registration,
them.
You got to put the
Regi-
star
yeah.
on. Always because people trying to steal our stuff. All right. Well, how's everything going personally for you?
It's going great.
Um,
It's going well. You just
Work's going good.
Work routine, everything.
You are running for the 3rd ward of San Bernardino. Have you announced?
I haven't announced. No, I find that to be no.
Well,
I
announce
haven't.
right now.
Well, I'm going to be running again. Yeah,
You're gonna run in the 3rd ward of San Bernardino?
I filed my paperwork like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, you filed it already?
Yeah, well, my documents,
Okay.
my 501, all that other stuff, that was done like 2 or 3 years ago.
For this run here.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, all right. Wait a second. I think a couple times I talked to you and you said you weren't sure if you were gonna run. So you were hiding that whole time.
You've been hanging out at Stizzy too much
No,
over
wait,
there.
man. I don't forget things. I remember that. I remember when you guys are there, and I have been hanging out at City too much. That place will empty your wallet pretty damn quick, man. I tell you. It's all those taxes you guys put on there, man.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
But it is revenue for the city.
So the last thing I'd like to mention, I will be seeing you at the Turkey Trot here in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
That will be on Thanksgiving morning. If you would like to register for our Turkey Trot, go to sbturkeytrot.com. It will be, we'll go out there in the morning and then go eat turkey at night. So it will be a good time. You've been to every single one, right?
Every single one since the first one over at the stadium.
And this is number 9 coming up, right?
Wow.
10 years.
Wow.
I can't even believe that. It just seems like the first one, and I remember Kerry Davis was running in that one.
Yeah.
That was over at the
At
Seminole
the stadium.
Yeah.
Running through downtown up through
Wow.
the up to the theater and back down.
So it should be that will be a good time, team. You can bring your kids, dress them up like little turkeys, and have a good old time. Are we almost done with this show, Eric? Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Eric, for everything you do. You're a great engineer, and KCAA. Give Eric a raise. and San Bernardino, give Councilman Juan Figueroa. Wait a second. We just gave you a raise. You don't get another
What?
raise. We just gave you a raise. You don't get another raise. All right. This is Robert Porter and Councilman Juan Figueroa on the I Love San Bernardino County radio show. And we are out of here.